Today on Addicted to Gear, we're going to find out whether or not this $149 guitar is trash or a smash. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Addicted to Gear. I'm Tony. Today we're taking a look at this Vangoa Standard Series Strat-style guitar that I found on Amazon. Now this guitar sells for $159. You could get this guitar when they offer a $10 rebate for only $149. So that automatically piqued my attention because I was curious to find out exactly what kind of a guitar you're going to get for $149. Now keep in mind that this guitar also comes with some accessories. You get the trem arm, you get a strap, you get a cable, you get the standard Allen key. They even throw in an extra set of strings and a tuner. You know, so like for $149, really that can't be beat. However, now if the guitar is a dud, then obviously you're throwing 150 bucks down the drain. So I thought I'd buy the guitar, play some sound samples for you, some clean and dirty, and do a full review of this guitar. So here it is. I just basically pulled it out of the box just a couple of minutes ago. Stock strings are on the guitar, no modifications at all, and I'm going to go through the guitar with you guys and give you an idea of how, what I see straight out of the box. So the first thing that's going to strike you when you take this guitar out of the box is exactly how light it is. This thing is probably the lightest Strat style guitar that I've ever held. It honestly feels like I'm holding balsa wood. So, I mean, it's great that it's light, but at the same time, it raises some flags as to what exactly they're using under this paint as wood. And I had some concerns about that. Now, I looked at the specs on the guitar, and basically, I wrote it down here so I won't forget, and hopefully we'll pronounce it properly. The wood that they're using in this guitar is called Paulownia. And I did some research on that, and basically what Paulownia is a very fast growing species of wood native to East Asia. And basically it has a lot of properties that are very similar to balsa wood, but actually it's stronger, and it's actually used in many cases for making surfboards because it's extremely light and also very durable. And they've been using this species of wood for instruments in Asia for quite a long time. It's not really a new thing. So that made me feel a little bit better. Overall, I mean, you want something that's not going to warp over time or crack or do anything like that. And I do appreciate the weight. I mean, it's only 2.4 kilograms, which is roughly about 5.5 pounds, which is really amazing, right? So that's one of the cool things, the weight. I always feel like a light guitar is better in certain ways, especially if you're playing long gigs. Now this guitar also comes with a 2-year warranty. So that means if anything goes wrong with this guitar, you contact the seller and they'll take care of it. So I mean, that's reassuring enough. So let's go over the actual guitar in a little bit more detail. So we can see that the guitar is basically a Strat style guitar. So the usual appointments apply. So 1 volume, 2 tone knobs, 5-way switch, a standard bridge that you can use to do all of the whammy exercises you want to do. The hardware on the guitar is black, and although it looks cool, it gives it kind of like a metal look if you consider the flat black hardware there. And it's, you know, standard hardware on these budget-friendly guitars, nothing to write home about, but I mean, the bridge seems to be intonated quite well. It has the stock strings on the guitar, which are, you know, obviously not going to be the best strings overall, but an upgrade with the strings is no big issue. When you finally wear them out, you can put whatever strings you want on them. At the headstock, the cool thing about this guitar is it actually has a Strat-style headstock, which, you know, that to me is something cool, because a lot of times these Asian-made guitars usually have their own style headstock because they don't want to infringe on any copyright issues. Well, this one doesn't. And that's actually pretty cool, because if you want to use this guitar as a modding platform, well, you have something that looks like a Strat right off the bat, right? So that's pretty cool as well. Now, the fretboard, the neck, and all of that, actually, I'm pretty impressed by the quality of the neck. It's straight and true. There's no buzzing frets. The fretboard, although it looks like it's rosewood, I'm pretty sure it's not actually rosewood. Some other species for sure, but I couldn't tell you what it is exactly. But it is nice and dark, and there's no knots or any weird things happening there. So that's really nice to see as well. The frets are kind of like standard sized frets. I would have preferred to see some wider frets, like mediums or medium jumbo. These are kind of like almost like vintage frets. So that's just one aspect of the neck that I would have preferred to have the choice of maybe a fatter fret if possible. But you know what? It plays really nice, and there's no frets sprout whatsoever on this neck, which is extremely rare on these budget guitars. The setup was done really, really well. I didn't touch anything, including the intonation and the height of the strings, and it plays really nicely. Now, the radius on this neck, I would say just by looking at it, is probably at least a 10-inch radius. Maybe a little bit more. I'm not really sure. I haven't measured it, and it doesn't have any of that information on the description, but just by looking at it, I would say it has to be at least a 10-inch radius, just by going by eye. Now, what I look at on these guitars, also on the neck, is the way, you know, the dot inlays are set up. Often they're crooked, you know, they're off to one side or not centered. These ones are centered nicely. Even the side dots on the side of the neck are right in the middle of the strip of let's call it rosewood, and it's not off. They're not like crooked in any way, which to me, I mean, that already, you know, makes me quite happy. Now, one of the things that actually blew me away about this guitar is the fact that it comes with a bone nut. Now, usually on these budget guitars, they're always plastic. You know, you rarely get a bone nut on these guitars, and that's usually one of the first things that I upgrade. In this case, it's actually bone. I don't know if you can see that, guys. Nicely slotted. The strings are not cut too deep, and the spacing on the strings are really, really nice as well. So that's a big thumbs up. You also have 2 string Ts. Sometimes you don't get any. In this case, there's 2 of them, also black. The tuners, standard, you know, I think 1 to 18 scale tuners, which pretty much standard. I wouldn't say they're the best tuners, but they do the job. Eventually, if you want to upgrade the guitar and do some mods on it, well, the tuners could be upgraded for sure. On the neck, there's no skunk stripe, as you can see, and what they say that the neck is actually made out of maple. Now, it doesn't look like it's Canadian hard rock maple. Again, it's probably some other species of maple, but it doesn't look bad. And the cool thing about the neck is that it's not finished in poly. It's got like a really natural finish to it, and really what I'm gonna do with this neck, because I like my necks, you know, more either sanded down or very less glossy, because I just feel that it makes it sticky. So this is really a nice neck for me, because this is what I like. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna apply a little bit of oil and a little bit of wax, and just give it the wax oil treatment and leave it like that, and it should be fine. So other than that, I mean, the neck pocket is super tight. I don't know if you can see anything here, you know, but the neck is really, really tight. There's no gaps or joints in the back. You know, sometimes you get some nasty gaps right over here in the neck pocket. Nothing like that here. You know, the only, look, little things, I mean, the minor things. If you look at the way the strap button is centered on the horn, it's slightly off. It's not exactly in the middle, but that's nothing we can't fix with a few toothpicks, some glue. Just re-drill the hole, center it up. If you're really anal like I am and you like to see everything perfect, well, that's one aspect that we can easily fix. The other thing is the pickups. So the pickups on this guitar are ceramic pickups, which very common on these budget guitars. Now, they don't necessarily sound bad, but obviously they're not high-end pickups. I haven't even adjusted the height on the pickup. They're actually very low. So I'm gonna play the sound samples like straight out of the box so you can hear them, you know, with all the warts and whatever, without any adjustment whatsoever. Okay, but just suffice it to say they're actually pretty low. Okay, I'll throw up some pictures for you guys so you can see that. So ceramic pickups, very common on these type of guitars. One thing I'm going to mention right off the bat is that the cavity on this body is actually routed for humbuckers. So you can actually put in 2 humbuckers in a single coil if you wish. So that is good to know, because eventually if you want to throw in a humbucker in the bridge position, or maybe get rid of the middle pickup altogether and just go with a humbucker style guitar, you can actually do that. Now the hardware, the electronics, they're standard electronics for overseas guitars, small sized pots, regular switch, you know, nothing to write home about. Again, these are things you can upgrade if you wish. One thing I'm gonna mention right off the bat is that the tone knobs are not wired properly. In other words, usually, you know, the tone knob will control the bridge pickup, and then the other one will control the neck pickup or whatever. In this particular case, it's controlling these 2 pickups, which means that you can rewire it if you want to have it in a different configuration. No big deal right there. The paint job overall, no issues there. I mean, you do see some very, very slight glue joints where, you know, if I shine it in the light, you will probably see them. A little bit there in the front or the back. You can probably see one. I think there's one around here. I don't know if you can see that or not, but anyways, it's there, but it's very hard to see. And obviously in black, the body's in black, nobody's really going to notice those little issues whatsoever. But I was expecting way worse than that. The other thing that's pretty cool, 3-ply pickguard. So you have a white, black, white pickguard on this guitar. That's nice to see. I'm not really sure why they put black screws on the pickguard. I guess they figured it looked good, but I would prefer to put in chrome screws in there eventually if I want to upgrade that. The back of the body has like a cheapish style cover in the back, but you know what? That's usually where they save a few pennies, because nobody really looks at the back of your guitar. If ever that bothers you, you can always swap that out and also put a 3-ply cover. This is just plastic. There's no 3-ply at all to that. So one of the things that I noticed when I was playing the guitar is that there is a little bit of harmonic overtones that are caused by the vibration of the springs in the back here. And you know, that's not a big issue. A lot of guitars will actually have that. And what you can do to get rid of that is just put in a little piece of cotton within the springs, and that will go away completely. No big issue right there. So at the top of this video, you heard me playing this guitar with some overdrive, a little bit more saturation, and it really has quite a bit of bite with these pickups. As I mentioned, the pickups were not adjusted for height, so you can probably squeeze in a little bit more refined tone out of this guitar if you wish, just by adjusting the height of the pickups. Now I'll play some clean sounds on the verge of breakup, just to give it a little bit more hair, and you'll hear what each one of these pickups sounds like individually. So there you go, guys. That's the Vangoa Standard Series guitar. For any of you on a tight budget, and who isn't these days, you can grab this guitar for $149 with a $10 coupon, as I mentioned. I'll put the link down in my description below. And honestly, it's a steal. I think it's a great modding platform. I just wish that eventually some of the overseas guitar manufacturers would, you know, maybe go a little bit easier on the big headstock decals, because they usually don't look very good. Eventually you can sand that off and, you know, put whatever you want on there if you want to modify it. But if you're not, you know, bothered by it, it's all good. The thickness of the headstock is quite nice, and the fact that it has a Strat-style headstock right there is a winner for me. The neck plays really well. There's nothing really that you need to do other than adjust the height of the pickups, maybe the intonation, and that's about it. You know, maybe a slight fret polish when you change your strings out, maybe make the frets a little bit more glossy. But other than that, man, I think this guitar is a smash. Definitely grab it if you're in the market for something to, you know, give your kids, or a kick around guitar if you want a second guitar or a third guitar, or maybe eventually use it to mod it, you know, do something else with it if you like. But it's all there, guys, $149. So that's it. Thank you for tuning in for another episode of Addicted to Gear. My name is Tony. Please help the channel out by subscribing. Also hit the little bell icon if you wish to be notified whenever I post other videos like this. Leave your comments below. I answer them all. And also remember, if you want to help the channel, grab some swag. The link is down below as well. All the proceeds of that go into helping out the channel and allowing me to produce more content for you guys just like this. So that's it, guys. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned and keep rocking right here on Addicted to Gear. See you soon.